growing brands and some drop-off points. Great brands share key ingredients. They know where they're going and how to get there. We can learn from these brands and apply those skills that they have to our businesses. I've always been curious how design thinking and brand strategy could not only bring clarity and improve performance, but how we can then overlay that with financial value and return on investments. I wanted to understand this a bit more, particularly when strategic design and brand strategy consultancy achieves the most impact. So I conducted some growth research with tech organisations and discovered some interesting engagement points. So stick around to the end of the video and I'll share those findings with you. In this video, I'll touch on growing brands and those growth drop-off points. I'll show you how this drop-off can affect a company's passion and reflected in their purpose. Then what we found with that research. Okay, let's get straight into it. The normal growth curve would look something like this. The most successful brands use econometrics to understand how and when to apply brand marketing spend. And with user and attitude data, they can forecast models that anticipate growth or decline. They anticipate, adapt and flex to meet those changes by reacting to that scenario modelling, which steers their brands around challenging times. Modelling helps marketing directors justify their spend in the boardroom and ask the "what if we" questions to predict marketing decisions before they're actually made. Smaller to medium-sized enterprises tended to miss the signs of decline and sink further before retrospectively addressing those drop-off points with reactive marketing. Now that could be for a variety of reasons, including less resources and simply dealing with day-to-day tasks and activities. This drop-off is not just seen in growth modelling, but also in a company's purpose and staff motivation. Some lose sight of their why, which has a knock-on effect of losing sight of their values, leading to difficulties for creativity to be able to hook together brand expression and brand personality. Brand vision, created through a company's philosophy, drives the values which are used to create brand personality if a company is using an umbrella brand architecture. Brand architecture is a structure of your portfolio to avoid it stretching its credibility over one or more categories. The consequences of this failure are then seen with lower staff motivation and reflected in lower service ratings, or just confusion over what they and their brand stands for. As the company grows, it reaches a point of expansion. Earnings go up, and so does the need to hire more people to do what the founders used to do. The result is that passion becomes hidden and plateaus with gaps in between senior management and staff, often resulting in a loss of purpose or failure to communicate the original motivations that inspired that startup. This just doesn't affect smaller businesses. Steve Jobs, of course, Apple, Howard Schultz, of course, Starbucks, and Michael Dell, we know of Dell Technologies, all experienced similar situations, having to return and reignite their visions within those organisations. So, what can be done? One of the biggest challenges facing organisations is learning how to take your people with you. It's no surprise that the most desirable companies understand how to express themselves to align internal and external brand messages. With a recent client, we had exactly this challenge. The company had grown extremely quickly and lost sight of its original purpose, value, and meaning. The results after our work were a renewed sense of purpose that united employees and provided understanding of how their company played its part in their sector. So this inside-out approach was then used to build their brand, but most importantly, they all got it. They were united about the brand positioning, believing and passionate about their part that they played within that company. We also have a tool which will measure the fitness of brands to win in the marketplace. This works again with user and attitude data or brand tracking data, and we can tell you if that could be improved, and more importantly, how to go about improving it to strengthen and leverage the plus points. You may be familiar with the basic brand psychology that our decisions we make are based around either moving away from a pain or aspiring or going towards a pleasure or something that is better. To extend that a little bit further, we can use the 5 fundamental motivations of buyer behaviour, which are measured to provide brand affinity scores for those modelling purposes. We do this by measuring 1, relevancy, so is this the right solution for me? 2, association, is this the right brand for me? Am I proud to be seen with it? 3, accessibility, what about the effort to achieve that brand, to reach, to understand it? 4, value, is it the right price and is it a price I'm ready to pay? And expectation, does it do what it's supposed to do, and am my expectations too high, or will it actually deliver? So this helps marketing directors because it's numerically based on evidence. So you've got the ability to underpin brand plans, understand why you're going to do what you're going to do, and what you're going to do to improve as a result of doing this. So how does this look for SMEs in reality, and when did engaging with strategic brand marketing deliver the most value? So let's look at that research findings, or those research findings mentioned at the beginning of this video. This was qualitative interviews and quantitative questionnaire research with over 30 high-tech business-to-business organisations, including science park clusters. So I wanted to grasp an understanding of companies who chose to engage with design, change and brand strategy versus those who didn't. So more research needs to be done in this sort of drop-off area, but of those companies surveyed with questionnaires ranging from startups to spin-offs to £2 billion turnover companies, most of those indicated slow mainstream adoption and difficulty finding niche product areas as a major hurdling point for their growth. Of those companies who participated in that research, we found some interesting patterns of growth too, turnover and strategic use of design as a business tool. As you might expect, startups and spin-offs use creativity in order to develop brand identity and a brand narrative or purpose. This was sufficient to take them forward to a turnover reaching approximately £500,000. However, many experienced what we call a comfort zone, or this drop-off point at the £1 million turnover point, which led to stagnation. So cast your mind back to that original B2B model, and they experienced that curve or drop-off. Then, realising they needed to increase activity with marketing communications and become more design aware, perhaps using innovation tools or strategic design processes, they then saw steady and predictable growth to £15 million and beyond. They used design and brand strategy to help stabilise and manage their sales pipelines and brand-related marketing. Econometrics and brand modelling also played an important part of that growth. So growing brands found value using design, but mind that comfort gap. If you'd like to know more about cultural alignment, a brand audit, or you're interested in useful bite-sized sprint sessions, want more measurement to know how to achieve the most effectiveness from your marketing spend, please message direct or head over to the workshop link pasted in this post. Thanks for watching.